All right, great day, everyone. I'm so excited about our pop-up Zoom today. My name is Tiffany Dion. I am here with the phenomenal Michelle Olivia, but we call her Liv, and you will too. We are going to be talking about Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, professional drivers, and why this business opportunity is the perfect match. So first and foremost, Liv, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing
Oh,
great. It was nice to stop for this, pause from driving for a little bit.
yes. Okay. So that look, we're gonna roll right into point number one. You're actually working today. And
Yes.
it I understand that as a driver, your schedule is so flexible that you can pause and then come and focus on a travel business and then unpause and so forth. So can you talk about that for a second? What does your schedule look like?
Um, my schedule is very flexible. It does not look the same every day. The beginning starts every day, Monday through Friday. My husband works, we live about 45 minutes away from where he works. But most of my business is in the same area. So instead of us driving separately, I drive him to work and drop him off. But there's not a lot to do at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I drive Uber until whenever my first appointment is with a travel client, or if I'm going to a networking meeting or just anything else that I have in the day, I drive until I hop onto that.
I love it. So I'm gonna ask you, what made you decide to start driving for Uber? Because I think it takes a special person, number one, to be an entrepreneur, period, then to be commissions based. So what led to that door opening up for you?
I started driving Uber out of necessity. I just needed to make some extra money. I was in the restaurant business at the time. I was actually a restaurant manager, and there's not much that you can fit around a hectic schedule of a manager's position because it isn't a set schedule. So I needed something to bring in a little extra money. My daughter was going to college, and I had a lot of bills coming in. And so driving was the only thing I could fit around it. That was 6 years ago. And since then, it has fit around most of my other positions. And when I decided to leave my last job, mainly because I wanted more time with my family, I took a huge pay cut to do so, but I wanted something that would be flexible and give me that lifestyle. So driving Uber made that available for me. Fast forward to a couple months ago, I wanted something that was going to be a little more long term. There's only so much driving I want to do for the next 3 to 6 years. I want to be able to plan our retirement and build something that can go with me when my husband retires in 5 years. And that's how I landed on travel. And it fits together perfectly. I'm able to have that flexibility to stop driving Uber when I want to jump on to something that has to do with my travel business. And I can also schedule my travel clients around my Uber time. So they kind of go very well hand in hand.
I love it. And I'm immediately thinking of a couple things. Number one of the biggest focuses that we have as a company, as travel business owners, as recruiters for other people that want to work in the travel industry is we're always looking for people that are after financial freedom, personal freedom, time freedom. And I'm hearing from you that Uber was already giving you a certain amount of freedom. Being a professional
Mhm.
driver in any capacity, that gives you this flexibility. And then to couple that with a travel business, you're taking your financial freedom up to another notch. You're really just putting yourself in a position to have more, to even dream bigger. Would that be an accurate statement?
That would be very accurate. And when I started the travel business, I actually considered stopping driving pretty much right away to devote more time to the travel business. But what I found was I was so excited about my travel business that while I was driving, I ended up talking to people because if anyone who's been in an Uber or has driven it knows, you get some riders that want to talk. And when you're asking them, hey, what do you do? Most of the time they say, oh, do you drive Uber all the time? Or they start asking about your schedule. And it's a great opportunity to say, no, this isn't my full-time gig. I drive Uber around my travel business, and then get a chance to tell them about my travel business, which I've gotten a couple of people that are interested in travel out of talking in the Uber, and a couple of people that are interested in the travel business itself. So it's a really good opportunity to share what I do in a very relaxed environment. So
I love that for so many reasons. You know why? One of the first things that people ask when they're deciding whether or not they're going to start a travel business is, where are my customers going to come from? Where are my business partners going to come from? I ask that question. I don't have a huge network of, friends and family. At least I didn't at that time. But you're saying, while you're working, your network is growing. You're meeting
mhm.
people consistently over and over again who are coming into that car, and they potentially do business with you on another level. I think that is major. Like
Yeah. Yeah. And just being prepared for it has been the biggest thing that I've learned, because people do ask. And I have my QR code right on my phone. So as soon as people say, oh, do you have a website? I'm like, there you go.
Yes.
And it's really easy to share, and it doesn't conflict with any of the guidelines from Uber. So it's not like you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. You can talk about your other jobs. You just can't solicit. So if someone asks me, I can share. So
Right.
that's it, it's really a good opportunity to meet new people. And since I've been, using it for that advantage, I've decided to continue driving for a little longer. It helps, especially during the winter time. It's a good opportunity for me to meet people without having to specifically go out to events.
Yeah.
So I'm getting paid to build my travel business.
I love it. I love it. So now I have to ask you this, because every legitimate business has some type of monthly overhead. Like, you can't get around that. Even
Mhm,
our cell phones have a monthly overhead, right? So
mhm.
in rideshare, in being a driver, just estimate, what would you say it costs per month for someone who wants to have an Uber business, whether it's wear and tear on the car or gas? Like, does Uber cover that? Because I'm just not familiar with that whole process.
Uber does not. As a For Uber, Lyft, any of the delivery services, we are all independent contractors. We are 1099s, and it's just the same as being an ITA. You have to track your own finances for it. There's small things that you don't think about when you get started. Of course, you use more gas. If you live in an area like I do that has tolls, you may have tolls that you have to pay, because those are tracked by the rideshare company, but they are not paid by the rideshare company. You pay them out of from your little tag on your car. But also you have to get your oil changed more often. You have to pay attention to the maintenance on your car a little more often. I would say it increases things like that, probably depending on how much you drive. It just depends on how much that's going to increase. But if you budget it out, at the beginning of the week, I usually budget out, okay, how many days am I going to drive? How many tanks gas is that going to take? That kind of thing. But the advantage at the end of the year makes it well worth it. Because last year, before I put in all my deductions from driving, my husband and I were owing money to the IRS. And once we put in all of our deductions, we got back a considerable refund, because just like in the travel business, your travel is tax deductible, your business travel is tax deductible, and there are other things that you can add on to that are cost of your business overhead. It's the same thing with Uber. So I can deduct a portion of my oil changes. I can deduct all of my mileage. That is all tracked by the rideshare company. So you get one sheet of paper at the end of the year, and it tells you how many miles you drove. It tells you all your tolls. All of those things are tax deductible. Where I see other drivers miss out is that they don't take the time when they do the taxes to list all of those specific things, because you can get all of that back. You can even get back the service fees that the rideshare company charges. So, for instance, if you take a ride and Tiffany, you paid $25 for the ride, but I only got 18, I can claim that difference on my taxes because it's a loss from revenue that I would have gotten.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a huge,
So it's
we
almost like
find,
they're taking a commission, like they're giving
yes.
you a percent. That is very interesting. I see so many parallels between ride sharing and having a travel business. You know, inside of a host agency, the host agency takes a they take a percentage of the commission, because had it not been for them, you wouldn't have
Hmm.
had access
Yes.
to book in the first place. So I think that that's very, very interesting. I love. Thank you for educating me, and thank you for educating everyone that is watching now and that are going to be watching the replay, because that's really fantastic information. Um, so it does cost in order to maintain your rideshare
Yes.
business. Does it
Yes.
have any startup cost? If somebody wanted to just jump right in and start Ubering today, are there any expenses that they would incur, or is it just go
Um,
into an app and start being a driver?
It's just going to an app and getting started. There are some restrictions. You have to have excellent driving record. You have to have insurance and things like that. There is an application process. You have to do a background check. You can't. I've known plenty of people that have gotten turned down for it. So that part you have to put in. But when you're first getting started, I'd say the overhead, the upkeep as you're going is more the investment cost. So you may be making, $200 in a day working full time, but you still have to account for, okay, I had to spend 40 to $5 in gas.
Mhm.
So there's going to be overhead just like any business. I will tell you the overhead for my travel business is a whole lot less. And my goal is to transition out completely by the end of the year. So
Well, all
that's I
right.
definitely see the advantage of the travel business over the Uber driving.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. You know, I don't know of any legitimate travel business where there's not some type of investment, and we have one. Our investment for many, they would consider it minimal. I say anything under $500 to have your
Mhm.
own home based business is an exceptional investment. So we check that box on a monthly basis. You know, our business overhead, it's under $60 a month. So
Mhm.
I love that. I'm seeing how these two businesses tie together. I think you've painted an incredible, incredible picture there. We don't have contracts here with the travel business. We can come and go as we please. Do you all have any type of contracts, or are you locked in any way, or
No,
it's similar there as well?
it's very similar. There's no contracts. There's no, you can stop anytime. I've taken months off at a time and
Mhm.
not driven. It gives you the flexibility. It's one of the things that really attracted me about the travel business is because my three main things is income, freedom, and flexibility. And that was something that I've been able to achieve with driving Uber, and something that I'm achieving on an even greater basis with the travel business. So.
I love it. So my last question before we wrap up, and I thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
What would you say to the rideshare driver, or not even rideshare? We've got professional drivers, we got chauffeurs, we have people that have their own company. So any
Mhm.
of those people, what would you say to them if they're like, okay, you know what? This might be a good fit, but I don't know if I could be successful here. Like what piece of advice would you give to them, since you're coming from the same industry?
Two things. I would say if you have the tolerance to drive Uber, you can do anything. It does take a different level of patience, because you're not just dealing with the person that's in the back seat of your car, which can be at times challenging, but you're also dealing with multitasking of driving at the same time. So if you can do that, you can do this. But my other answer would be the answer that I gave my husband why I'm transitioning out. Uber is paying me today, travel's going to pay me forever. And 5 years from now, when your back is killing you and you don't want to be in the car all day, you need something to fall back on. So why not have something that you can build while you do your other job, so that you have something to transition out of when you don't want to Uber anymore?
That was a mic drop, you all, both of those. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna put anything on top of that. Like seriously, Liv, you just That's that. I want to say again, thank you so much for your time. That was powerful. I know that this is going to make an impact in a lot of lives, probably more than we'll ever actually know. So thank you again. Those of you that are watching this video
My
on
pleasure.
replay, please get back to the person who invited you to take a look at this and let them know I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to start supplementing my income, supplementing my lifestyle. And we look forward to seeing you on this side of the travel industry. So happy driving, everyone. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Liv. This has been
Thank
incredible.
you.